So hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being able to join this evening. I really do appreciate you all being able to find the time in your schedule to be able to join me today. So today I'm going to be talking about all the things I have done during my time with CASA of Houston County as an intern this semester. So without further ado, we can go ahead and get started. Okay, so what is CASA? I would love to be able to hear from some of you all what you think CASA is, or who you would explain to a stranger what we do, stuff like that, because I know a lot of people don't necessarily know what we do. So if anybody would like to turn on their mic and join, that would be great.
We advocate for children in foster care.
Yes, absolutely. Would anybody else like to share anything else they would say?
We are the voice for abused and neglected children in foster care, advocating that they get a permanent home just like everybody else.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing, everyone. And I will go ahead and explain in detail more what CASA is from a more definition standpoint. So CASA's mission is they are a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to improving the lives of children in the foster care system, especially for us in the state of Georgia. So by advocating for these children, we're able to help those who have experienced abuse, neglect, all the difficult things that are going on in their lives. And our volunteers are able to amplify each of those children's voice and help change their story in a court setting. So briefly, I'm going to explain what the history of CASA is. So the organization CASA was first founded in 1982 by a Superior Court judge in Seattle, Washington. But the first CASA in Houston County was formed as an umbrella under the Rainbow House, which we will talk about them a little bit more later on in this presentation. But both were in Warner Robins originally, but after the growth of both organizations, CASA was ultimately able to branch out off into its own organization in 2002, which is really awesome because now they're both able to flourish and partner together for events and things like that. So public health issues that are found in children in the foster care system. Not many people know what public health applies to. It can apply to a ton of different realms of the world, and a lot of people associate public health with just healthcare facilities or stuff of that nature, but that's not entirely true. Public health can be found in so many different things, and I've learned that through my studies as a public health major at Georgia College. But what we see primarily in the foster care system with these children is a lot of them deal with really hard situations that they're coming from. So mental health conditions, a lot of them struggle with anxiety and depression. And while a lot of us on our own deal with those as well, a lot of these conditions can be heightened from their previous situations and ultimately becoming really difficult for a child, especially at a young age, to have to start dealing with those mental health conditions. Another issue that we see in children in the foster care system is physical and developmental problems. So that's being underweight at birth or having some kind of disease when you're born or not growing tall enough. These are something that you can see that they're not properly developing like a normal child would be in a healthy living condition. Another thing we see is malnourishment, especially for children who are younger and babies. A lot of babies are born low birth rates because of these substance abuses, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. Another thing is parental abuse and neglect. I would say from personal experience, I would say this is the number one reason why many children are taken from these homes. They go to school and teachers see the bruises on their arms, and so they're mandated reporters, so they report it and they're able to get them out of these really difficult situations in home lives. Another thing is sexual assault, and this is traumatic for someone at any age, of course, but as a child, it can ultimately change your childhood and really warp it into something that's really difficult for the rest of your life. And we see that in a lot of children, unfortunately, which is really sad. Another thing, like I mentioned earlier, is prenatal abuse. when a mother is pregnant, sometimes they will still partake in drugs and alcohol, and ultimately that's harming their unborn child. And it ultimately causes, once the child is born, they have those problems and conditions even after a few months or years. Another thing is substance abuse. Again, it's similar to prenatal abuse, except they might be doing it in the household after the child's born, and they're just around really unhealthy living conditions, seeing drug paraphernalia or needles or any kind of that, just that's very unsafe and unsanitary around their childhood living conditions. And so I also included this graphic right here. And this is what I feel like a lot of people think children are silent, so they're not having a voice. And that's why we are there to be their voice and to take them from these being quiet little children or youth and really taking them in and allowing them to go into these better, healthy home living conditions. Okay. So what have I done at CASA? So I've done a bunch of different things, but I'm going to start off with the administrative and leadership task that I have completed. So first off, when I first arrived in January, I completed the mandated reporter training by Pro Solutions training, and I am already a mandated reporter for my university, but having this training was really beneficial because a lot of the things I knew in a college setting, but I didn't know as much related to youth or children or even babies. So it was important to learn and relearn a lot of those techniques and things that you have to look out for. Another thing that I did during my time was I attended the Advocate Pre-Service Training, which is a 40-hour training that we do for all our advocates who are wanting to become one. They have to go through this training. It's twice a week, Mondays and Thursday evenings, and we're able to go through a lot of different things that they might see in their cases, whether that's neglect and how to handle those situations and trauma and such like that. Another thing is I attended the monthly peer group advocate meetings. These are really awesome for advocates to come together. Currently, we are doing them on Zoom, but it's awesome for advocates to come and share updates on their cases and tell their case manager what's going on so we can get them better help for that case and give them more updates. Some people come on and they don't know when the next court hearing is, and we're able to provide information like that. Or they need their login information to be able to look at records. We're able to also provide that as well and figure out other ways we can support them as an advocate. And then in March, I was actually able to lead my own peer group, which was really amazing. I was really nervous to do it, to be honest, because I've only attended them. I did not really know how I was going to lead one on my own. My supervisor and the other supervisors were not able to attend, so I had to lead her up and get on it. So I was actually able to talk with the advocates, which is something that sometimes I have communication with them, but a lot of it's indirectly through email. So being able to talk one-on-one with them was really awesome. And then being able to relate that information back to my supervisors so they could get the necessary help that they needed. And I also got really great feedback from the people who joined, which was really amazing here because it definitely made me feel like I did a better job than I had thought I did. And then another thing, which I will also go into further detail in a few slides, is the partnerships I developed with nearby cities and universities that will really work with CASA for future events and for gaining advocates on our team. I also programmed meetings with individuals from those organizations. I set them up, I scheduled them, and I ultimately told the rest of the staff when we would be meeting with them and created the Zoom so we're able to join and learn about the different events that are happening in Warner Robins or Centerville that we otherwise would have never known. And I also attended juvenile court in Warner Robins on Wednesdays. They have that. I had never been to court prior to this internship, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. I've seen it, of course, on TV. It's these large rooms with like a really scary judge, and it's just very serious. And I wouldn't say that this is any different. It's just not as big of a building, but it was really a very eye-opening experience to be able to see both of the attorneys like argue back and forth and really just get their attorney on. And then I also attended the CASA team retreat in March. We were able to get out of the office and meet in somewhere else and be able to start pre-planning events that we want to do from now until September or so, and be able to get a lot of that planning done ahead of time and really focus only on that and not have any other distractions, which was really great because we got to get out of the office and it was really fun. The other things I have done while working with CASA this semester is technology. I like to say that I love technology and social media, so this was really fun for me. I was able to manage the CASA social media pages, which includes the Facebook page, the social media, the Facebook page, the Twitter, and the Instagram social media pages and platforms, and be able to share informational and educational graphics that I made through Canva to be able to spread awareness about a lot of different important things and events and just statistics that people need to know about. And then I also proposed Me Advocate Monday, which was something I had randomly come up with at the beginning of the semester. I had seen it on a couple of different CASA Georgia pages, and I thought it would be really great for us to be able to show our personality through our page and that we're not just a bunch of graphics without a face. So I proposed that to my supervisor and she loved the idea. So we were able to send out Google Forms to our advocates to fill out, and we were able to share their why and what their favorite thing about being a CASA advocate is. And then the Fun Fact Friday concept, I had already been thinking about this as well, but I had come to the office one day and Valencia actually, she mentioned we were having a social media meeting and she said, well, what about like sharing a fun fact on a Friday? And I was like, I was actually just thinking about that like the other day. And I thought that would be really interesting. Again, not many people know what CASA is or the history of it or what we do. So we were able to really plug that in a fun way through social media and get people to share it as well. And then we get social media Excel monthly calendars every month from corporate, and I was able to update them and add our Me Advocate Monday and our Fun Fact Fridays and other random things that I felt would fit our social media best. I really wanted to make our social media bright and lively and inviting and not just so bland. So I really tried to include color and graphics with designs and just different things to switch it up. And then I also suggested how our CASA website could be improved and updated. We had another meeting about just things that were coming up, and this had gotten brought up. And I think that another awesome way that we could use social media is through our website. However, the website has not been updated since about 2017 with information and events, as well as photos from people getting sworn in as advocates. There was no really updated information, so it didn't look like we had been doing anything when obviously we have been doing a lot since those have been posted. So I just suggested that we should update those to be able to showcase what we are actually doing currently. And then the last thing as far as technology that I did was create Google Forms to gather information from our advocates, like I said, for the Me Advocate Monday and other things. Whenever my supervisor, Rika, would reach out to me and say, hey, I need you to do this for me real quick, I was like, I got you. I love Google Forms. I'm the queen at it. I will do this real quick and send it to you. And it's just a really great way to survey a lot of information and get it in a quick and organized way. Moving on to the partnerships that we assembled, or I assembled. So we, like I said earlier, the Rainbow House and Us, we have a great partnership for many, many years. And they are a children's resource center, which really helps with children who come from difficult situations and really allow them to heal adequately and give them a sense of normalcy. And so they are a great partner to us even now. And I also reached out to the city of Perry and the city of Centerville, and we were able to have meetings with them about things that they were doing as a city that we would be able to join in and attend. As such, they have a food truck Friday that we were interested in attending. Well, once we had the meeting with us, we figured that was probably not going to be feasible for us, considering you had to pay a lot of money to join it each week. So we found other alternatives that she was able to provide us, which was really awesome. Another thing, I thought that this would be a great idea would to reach out to universities. So I attend Georgia College and State University, and Mercer University is right down the road from Warner Robins, about 30 minutes. So the law school at Mercer, I reached out to them saying, we are looking for some advocates. It's a great volunteer opportunity. You have to be 21 years old. That's why I thought colleges would be great. A lot of the students are in grad school, or they're a junior or senior and they're going to be around for a few more years, or maybe they're just in the area already. And I thought it would be a great way to get our name out there for free advertisement and really showcase what we were able to do and what they could do if they came on board as an advocate. Next up, these are the Meet Advocate Monday graphics that I made. So over here, this is just one that I made. As you can see, I like to include color. I'm not sure if you can see my mouse or not. And then in the middle is Gracie, and then the other one is Cassie. I love Gracie's why, and she said the well-being of a child creates the foundation for the rest of their lives. As CASA advocates, we're able to actively affect change for children who deserve a chance at a successful life. And I could not agree more. I think her why is the main reason why a lot of us do this. Oops. Okay, and then Fun Fact Friday graphics. Again, I like to keep them bright and colorful. So over there on the left, I made it look like it was a web browser, which was really fun. And then in the middle is something that I did not know about until I was doing research to do these graphics. And it just says children who have a CASA volunteer are half as likely to enter into the foster care again. And that's a huge statistic, and we're very proud of that. And I think that just is a testament to what our advocates are able to do and really speak up for the children in the court situations. Then we have this one right here. I made this for Black History Month, and it just included a bunch of celebrities that have all been in the foster care system, and it had a photo of Ice Cube on there, and he was actually in the foster care system. So it just proves that while we may look up to celebrities, they really are a lot more like us than they are different. And then on the last one, I did a social media post about the month of February because it recognizes Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. And so I was able to include a really important statistic. If you'd like to read it, you may. And then I also was able to include the National Domestic Violence Hotline, which is really important. And that's why we encourage our advocates and people who see our social media to share it, because it gets out important information like that hotline that can actually help someone who may randomly come in contact with it. Okay, so getting into my project, my original project was CASA 30 for 30 anniversary celebration. When we were first planning this event, especially at our team retreat, we were talking about what we wanted to do, where we wanted to have it. That's why we reached out to Perry, seeing if they could give us a location. And ultimately, we decided that after all the planning that was going to take, it would be best for us to hold it later in the summer. And so that's what we ultimately decided to do, to push it off so we could have a higher attendance and so more children could come. But it was going to be a super big event for the city, and to be able to celebrate past and present advocates, as well as the families and the foster children all at once, just to celebrate our 30 years. So this is the purpose of my final project. April, as many of you know, is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and we really wanted to recognize it because we wanted to shine a light on this issue and really show that we are against it. And so we invited individuals to come sign our county's protocol and proclamation against it. So to remind others about the importance of this issue, we are also able to advocate for these children in the foster care system who are dealing with this kinds of abuse. And we were able to physically have them sign and show their support, because we ultimately want to be the solution to the issue. Okay, the planning process of my project. So I'm going to go over this briefly. The first step in the process was to reach out to the Rainbow House, which is the really great partnership that we have with them, and see if they would like to join in us in our efforts for this event and would like to help us co-host it. And then also we had to reach out to a caterer. I had the best time finding one. We used mini Dixie donuts, which was so delicious. Everyone was talking about how good they were at the event, and we were able to help out a local company as well. And then I also reached out to important people in our area, such as the judge, the mayors, other staff members, advocates, Department of Family Service and Child Services, the City of Perry, the City of Centerville, the City of Warner Robins, Robins Air Force Base, Georgia, Houston County Board of Commissioners, and so many more, and just really put it out to the public as well that they were able to join our event. And then me and Rika, which is my supervisor, we revised the protocol and the proclamation and ultimately sent it off to Rainbow House and to Judge Monica Wilburn to have her revise it to approve that it would be okay to print it. And then we sent it off to be printed off Office Depot in a large piece of paper. So we were all able to sign at the event. And then I created a graphic, which I'll show in the next slide, that was able to be posted on social media to also share the word, because social media is very powerful. We also created a detailed schedule for the event, and we were able to send it out to the judge, and she was ultimately able to send it to others who I may not have direct contact with. So that was really awesome that we had the judge's support. And then ultimately decorating the courthouse and setup of the day of the event, and which we will also go into further in a minute. So here's the graphic that I did. So I just really wanted to include the pinwheels because those are important to Prevent Child Abuse America. And as you can see, it has all of our information of when it was and the time and where to find us. Okay, here, I knew that was going to happen. Okay, here we have all of our photos, and this is on the left. We have all the posters and how we had decorated it, and it was just really cute and really inviting area. And then in the middle right here is me, and that's me with our proclamation out in the lobby, and we had some signatures on it, as you can see. And then these delicious donuts were the ones we had catered by Mini Dixie Donuts. And here are some more decorations that we had. Here's one of our advocates who is signing the other proclamation at the front of the room. And then here's another one in the lobby. And here's some of the amount of people that were still left over at the end of the event. It was a great success. There were so many people that we ultimately had to go out into the lobby because there was so much overflow, and nobody could have predicted that. But it was such a great opportunity for all of us to be able to join under one house for one purpose and really show our support for the children in our area. And then the overall evaluation of my project is, I would say that it was a super successful event and allowed us to gather for a very important purpose and to shine a light on the issues that are in our city and our county, and just really get support from so many different people in our area as well, and that we aren't alone and that we are all raising our voice for this problem. And 3 things that I would do differently about it, though, is I would find a different, larger space, because it was really tight in there and we had to use the lobby, which was fine, but it ultimately created some confusion or not being able to hear as well. And then another thing I would do is a hands-on activity, and then better placement of the poster boards. We had 3 poster boards, 2 in the lobby, and then I had 1 in the lobby, 2 in the courthouse, 1 in the lobby. And it created confusion if people were supposed to sign all 3 or just 1. So that would be something I would do over differently. So ultimately, this is the end of my presentation, and I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who was able to join. I severely, truly appreciate it. I have had an amazing time with CASA, and it has really opened my eyes to the work that everyone's doing here, and it takes a special person to be able to do this job. It's a very hard job. It's a very heartfelt job, but someone has to do it, and I'm very honored that I have met the people who are behind it. So I also want to thank my supervisor, Rika, who was not able to be here today, and say thank you to all the help that she was able to give me and all the guidance as a young college student. And I will definitely use it as my time progresses into my career. So thank you so much for taking time on your Friday afternoon to join me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you, everyone.
Savannah.